So I am listening to Midnights by Taylor Swift. I already listened to a couple of the songs, and I did the recording where you could see my reactions, but really, so far it's been pretty underwhelming. So I think it would be better to just talk about the songs afterward instead. And of course, there's copyright stuff, so I'd have to cut out all the music, and you just see my silent face anyway. So I'm just gonna give you my reactions for. So the first song that I listened to was Karma, and I was excited about that one because that was one that like the super fans that analyze every move that Taylor makes figured out that there was references to karma, like there was Easter eggs that she had put in some of her music videos, and they thought that it was going to be a full album called Karma, but it was not. It was for this one song. The song is catchy, but the lyrics are all over the place. They're all over the place. It's like Karma is a cat, my boyfriend is Karma, something about shooting spider webs, like all over the place. Now, when you got the super fans that are like watching her every move, which I do not, they might be able to break down and be like, oh, this is referencing this person in this time period in her life and all this other kind of stuff. Uh, I don't know all that. I'll watch the videos when someone figures out all the Easter eggs and all the meanings and stuff for me. But as far as the actual song goes, I felt like it was a little too long. And the lyrics were just so nonsensical that it didn't really have any... It didn't resonate because the lyrics didn't mean anything to me. Like, it didn't hit on an emotional level. And then the second song that I listened to was number 4 because it features Lana Del Rey. And honestly, Lana Del Rey's portion of the song is really just acting as a backtrack to Taylor Swift. That's it. So underwhelming because I think Lana Del Rey has an amazing voice and she has a unique style. But in here, they just blended together so well, which is a good thing, but it didn't allow any opportunities for Lana Del Rey to stand out. And I feel like if you're gonna have a song that features someone, you need to give them the opportunity to stand out. And it just didn't really happen with this one, unfortunately. What I did not mention also, half of the tracks on this CD are explicit. So if you don't like explicit songs, then there is a clean version of the CD. I actually bought one, so I should be getting it in the mail tomorrow, and I'm glad because I noticed the past couple of albums have had more explicit songs, and sometimes it's just like one word and I might not even notice it, but other times it's like in several parts of the song, and I don't actually cuss myself, so I don't really prefer to hear language in music because I don't use it. But yeah, I'm not fazed by much of it at this point. But I will tell you what's in the songs in case certain ones for you are like a no-go. You cannot listen to the song if it has that word. So Karma has the big whammy for me, the one that I do not like, and I will skip songs that have it. And that is the GD word. But that's the only word that it has in there. And then Snow on the Beach with Lana Del Rey has the F word several times, like it's in like the chorus. So Snow on the Beach, the actual song, how do we feel about that? I like the opening melody. I think it has kind of like the feel of her 1989 album, and there is like, so it has like that, and it also has a little bit of like folklore style as well, so it's kind of like a mesh between those two eras. So I like the sound of the song, but it went on way too long. Like the exiting portion was like over 20 seconds of them just saying snow on the ground or something like that. I can't remember. Oh, it's coming down, it's coming down, it's coming down, something like that. Yeah, there was like 20 seconds. I thought that the song should have been cut off like 30 seconds before that. And it was a 4-minute and 16-minute song, which makes it the longest one on the album, but it just felt too long. And then with Karma, it wasn't a long song. It was only 3 minutes and 24 seconds, but it also felt like it was a little too long. So the next one is You're on Your Own Kid. And I've only listened to the intro part of this. And so far out of the three, this is my favorite. People say that number 5 on her albums tend to be the most like hard-hitting or emotionally resonant songs. They seem to be the ones that like will make you cry. And so for this one, the title would make me think that might be a possibility. But it has the lyricalness. It has kind of like, it's not country, so it's got the pop sound, but it does have like that young feel, and like it has like a younger style. So it kind of reminds me of like maybe Sparks Fly. So a little past the country phase, but not quite into the pop phase. But then it also has a little bit of like the red album feel. But yeah, I'm gonna listen to more, but that's kind of what I'm getting from it right now. Okay, I've got to the chorus, and it is so good. So it's definitely a Taylor song. It feels like I've heard it before, but I haven't heard it before. It's new, but it just feels like her. It has like a kind of like jumpy sound into. So there is like that jumpiness, which is what I was getting at with like it sounds like kind of like a kid. I don't know how to explain what I mean by that. It just seems younger, like the way that a child would write a song. Not in a bad way. That's just how I'm hearing it. But then once it gets to the chorus, it feels more of like adult Taylor. Yeah, so I'm really liking the chorus. Oh my, that line hits. It says that you're on your own, kid. You always have been. It's really good. At the end of the chorus, it's so interesting because it like has like the younger feel from her early albums, but without the country twang. And then it has like the more modern, I guess the Lover album kind of sound, but then it has a throwback to the 1989 with like the 80s vibe at the end of the chorus. It's like mixing everything together. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, I can see why people said number 5 would be it. So it fools you by having this happier sound, this upbeat sound. But she literally just said the line, like, I gave everything for this and then I starved my body. So she's like talking about when she had an eating disorder. Yeah, okay. So it does have the long phase out. I'm noticing this with this album. She has like at least a 10-second with like no lyric phase out, which seems to just go just a little too long on all of the songs for some reason. I don't know why. That's never been an issue I've had with her music. But yeah, I think that one is going to resonate with a lot of people. As far as the eating disorder part, it's literally just that one line. But yeah, I like that one. I feel like if I did know more information about exactly what everything is that's being referenced, then it would hit even harder. So yeah, now I want to try Midnight Rain because that sounds so pretty, and that's track number 6. I am so confused by the opening of the song. It sounds like Cher on really bad autotune. So it's like a masculine voice, but you still know it's a woman singing. I have no Um, but there's no one that's singing it with her, so it's like a voice manipulation of Taylor Swift because it's not featuring anyone. It just sounds so weird. I don't know if I like it or not. It has a beat that's stable, but the like musicality of it, like the part that's not the drums, that's keeping the tempo is kind of like ooh, like a wonky sound, like an unnatural, dissonant sound, and it messes with my brain. Like it makes you feel uncomfortable with that sound because it's not a normal sound, like it's being distorted. This is also one of the shorter tracks on the album. It's 2 minutes and 54 seconds. I'm already 23 seconds in and can't even really understand what she's saying, so we'll see. Okay, it's finally getting to her voice, which I think is really good, but the wonky, distorted sound mixed with the nice sound, it makes my head hurt. Like, I do not like it because it sounds wrong. It just sounds wrong to me. I do have OCD, and maybe that's why, because my brain is just like, this is wrong, this is wrong. I don't even know if I can pay attention because it's like, my head does not like it. Okay, so it says he was sunshine, I was midnight. I broke his heart because he was nice. This makes me think it's about Taylor Lautner because she's made another song about him, and it was like he liked her and he was a good boyfriend, but she didn't like care enough about him to give him really the time of day. So he was like the one good relationship and she ruined it. So I think that's what this one is about. The lyrics so far are really pretty. Unfortunately, that background song is just ruining it for me. I really wish they would take out the wonky and give me the natural sound, because the natural sound is pretty. It might be classic Taylor, so they're trying to switch it up, but I don't know. I'm like, did the people that normally work with her on this? Because, like, I know she pretty much, I guess, produced the last two albums, Folklore and the other one, on her own, and those worked out brilliantly. But this album seems like it needed some more help. It needed some more people behind it to be like, yeah, this is a good decision. Yeah, this is a bad decision. I hate to be so critical. Like, I was so excited. Like, you don't know. I've been counting down, like, the hours for this album. And it's just, there's been something wrong with, like, every song. It's so weird. So, there's a line that says, he wanted it comfortable, I wanted that pain. And then it's like, he was like a midnight rain. I feel like that line, the comfortable and then the pain, is actually why she has the weird distorted sound. So it's like a meaning to it, because it is a very uncomfortable sound. But I still wish it wasn't in there because it literally makes my head hurt. Another one with a 20-second outro with no lyrics. I'm like, you need to shorten that to like 5 seconds because it's too much outro. Too much. I just don't understand. Next up, I'm going to listen to Bejeweled because that was another Easter egg because she had a bracelets that she was selling. So it could have something to do with that. So I'm interested. Definitely a 1989 style throwback. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it has some of the sass from the Reputation album, but in the style of Lover. So it's like giving you all the sass, but instead of doing it to a sass tone, it's doing it to like this light, lyrical, whimsical. It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's quirky. They got it down to like a 7-second outro. I don't think it was too much of an outro. Maybe like a second or two. But this is my favorite so far. It's super quirky, so it doesn't really have the emotion, but it's good. Like it's good. Um, and then You're on Your Own Kid was also, I like some of the lyrics for that. So next I am going to try Anti-Hero. I know I'm totally jumping around, but I might as well be unique, right? So there was, when she was telling people what the song titles were, there was some where she held the phone upside down. Now, again, I am not like the super fans that analyze all this stuff. And I can't remember which tracks it was where she put the phone upside down, but I'm going to guess that it was track number 3 and track number 8. Y'all tell me if I'm right, because I'd be curious. The reason why I say that is because track number 3 is Anti-Hero, and track number 8 is Vigilante, and then the S word. So I feel like those kind of go together, because like a vigilante is kind of an anti-hero. So I feel like Anti-Hero is going to give us some Reputation vibes. So I think that this probably is a collection of songs that didn't make it on previous albums, and then she put them together. This doesn't feel like it's like a new era of Taylor Swift. It seems like it's recycled. So like you're getting lots of inspiration from previous stuff, whereas all of her other albums have kind of, you know, it's Taylor Swift, but they've all had a very distinct feel to them. Besides the first 2 albums, they kind of fall together, and then you got like the bridger of the Sparks Fly, and then the one after that. Yeah, so let's try Anti-Hero. I always thought it was forever. Thought I'd go down in flames. The intro has that exact tune, but it only lasts for like 4 seconds, and then it switches. So I really do think she's doing like a throwback thing to her own music. Yeah, it goes straight from that into like the 1989 80s style. It has some distorted sound, like, but it's like a back tempo. It's not as like aggressively present as the other song, The Midnight Rain. So it actually works for me here because it's not overpowering, whereas in Midnight Rain it just completely overpowered the whole song, and I did not like that. Yeah, liking this so far. Very catchy. The best outro as far as like I feel like it was perfectly timed. So finally we have it perfectly timed. Yeah, very catchy. I feel like it's going to be one that's easy for people to learn. It also has the experimental lyrics that you get from the folklore albums, where she's kind of like creating the story that hasn't actually happened before. So it's like a storytelling type thing, but like with this made up. I feel like it's made up because it's like futuristic, like from the grave. But it's still, I think it's still her, but she's like forecasting herself in this alternate thing. That might be a little, you know what, but whatever. Alright, now I'm going to listen to Vigilante one, which is an explicit track, so I'll let you know why it's explicit when I'm done. Okay, instantly, it gives me the Reputation vibes. Instantly. I don't dress for women, I don't dress for men. Lately, I've been dressing for revenge. Okay, that's funny. I think this one's gonna be my favorite one, so far. Alright, so this one so far is the most basic as far as the musical side of it goes. It's mostly just like a drum beat, and then there's like, I guess it's a guitar using like a wah-wah board. I don't know. Very basic, but I like it. Okay, it's got the keyboard like wah-wah. Wah-wah. So like she's doing a lot of stuff with distorted sounds. It's another one with experimental lyrics, or she's like doing a storytelling kind of exercise, like what she did with the Folklore album. Because it's talking about a divorced woman getting the kids in the house. So she's been using cliches in a lot of the songs. It's like this one's "Don't get sad, get even." Yeah, I take it back. This is not my favorite one. Mine. Now she just said he was doing lines and crossing all of mine. Like snorting stuff. Now she's talking about the FBI. This feels too experimental for me. Some of these songs, I think that's what it is. It's like the lyrics are too nonsensical. They don't resonate, which is sad because she's such a good storyteller. All right. Good outro. Didn't take too long. I got kind of bored halfway through, to be honest. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. Oh man. We need some like bops in here because so far I'm not feeling it as a whole. Like it's just not coming together for me. And I know I'm listening to stuff out of order, but whatever. Alright, I'm gonna do Labyrinth. That sounds fun. Definitely has an intro for like it hurts the most. Not that. That's Rascal Flatts. It's like I can't remember what the song is, but she has another song that has the same tune with the beginning. So I don't know. It's got like a mix of Lover with I don't know. A mix with like Lover and 1985. No, 1985. 1989. So far, so good. I think it's one of the more simple ones with lyrics. And also, it didn't go crazy with the musical composition either. But I like it. It's like the most familiar Taylor style. But still has some newness to it. Because it did have like the male distorted type voice in there too. Yeah, I think that one's good. I like that one. Now I'm going to try Maroon. Or Reputation Error. It seems like this one is about maybe her cheating on one of her exes. I really like the music composition so far, and I like the singing. So I think this one's probably going to be my favorite. We'll see. Okay, it also has the F word. I don't know if this one was based on a real thing, or if it's more of the experimental like Folklore. Whatever I said for album-wise, I'm changing my mind. It's more Folklore era. It was probably one of the most simplistic lyrically, but it's also one of the best ones on the album so far. So, let's do. Which one do we want to do? We're getting to the end. I don't know. Up. I forgot this one. So, we'll do Question. That's literally the song title. And it is another explicit track. A little bit of Red feel, but the lyrics are more explicit than like the Red album, and it is a little more edgy. This one has the F-bomb in it. I would say this is maybe what we're going to get next from Taylor Swift, which I know technically this is what we got next. But this just feels like a mishmash from like different eras. This one is the first one that I've listened to where it kind of feels like the combination of all of the errors except for the country stuff. Um, so this one seems like the new direction that she's going in. Alright, so that one I feel like could have actually had a couple more seconds on the outro. I like that one. I feel like that one's going to be on the radio. I feel like it would be something that people would listen to while driving. It is like a road trip song. So now we will do Sweet Nothings. This one has a little bit of a long intro. Not really, but like I'm 13 seconds in, I haven't got any lyrics. But I would also say this one has hints of like folklore and then 1989. But I also have a feeling that once we get to the lyrics, it's going to be something new. So I feel like this could be new era new era Taylor. It's like Tara. It definitely had a softer sound, like you could go to sleep to it. I kind of want a song on this album that has a fast, belty portion, because none of these have had any belting, and I like belting. I don't think I'm going to get it from Lavender Haze. That just sounds like it's going to be a softer song, but it's also the opener. And so all we have left is that and Mastermind. So Mastermind could be the bop. Alright, I guess we'll try, I don't know. I guess we'll try Mastermind. Okay, no belting with that one. I would say this one's Taylor New Style. It's like just a very minute change from folklore. Because all the songs with, like, when I say folklore, I'm referring to both of those albums that came out back to back, because I can't remember what the second one's called, and they came out within like a month of each other, so I just consider them the same thing. But anyway, yeah, I think this is a newer style Taylor. It's very understated. It's very soft sound, but it did have a little bit of like an upbeat. Yeah, so far, hands down, Mastermind is my favorite song on the album. And it's not explicit, so that's a plus. Yeah, I think that one could go on the radio, and it does have emotional resonance. Not overpowering, but enough to make it, like, relevant, if that makes sense. So the last one I have is the first one on the album. I'm going to double check just to make sure I didn't skip any, but I'm pretty sure. So I think my favorites so far have been Mastermind. Sweet Nothings was very, very simple, but also very easy to listen to. I liked Labyrinth. I thought Bejeweled was kind of quirky and funny. And Question, I think, was okay. And then Your Own Kid was interesting. The anti-hero one was interesting. So, yeah, I mean, some of them I really liked. Some of them felt underwhelming. Some of them felt weird. Or I just did not like some of the choices. But yeah, Lavender Haze is the last one, and it is explicit. So maybe this one will be fast, but with the title, I really don't think it will be. I think it's going to be another, like, soft lyrical. We'll see. Kind of has a mall changing room vibe. Yeah, it just seems like something you would play in the mall with people changing clothes. They lose track of time. So it's not, like, super fast, but it's definitely not slow. It's good. I don't really think it has a particular album that she's done in the past that, like, really screams that this song was from that era, but it's also not quite like the other songs I would say is like the new style. But I would still probably pop it into the new style just because I'm not getting that strong connection to a previous album of hers. But I also still have 2 minutes left, so Okay, so I've officially listened to all of the songs. That one, the explicitness was for the S word. There might have been the D word too, and I just kind of didn't even register it. Yeah, so I think my favorite on the album is Mastermind, which is the last song. My least favorite on the album is Midnight Rain. But it would be one of the favorites if it didn't have that distorted background sound. And I also really liked Labyrinth. So I think Mastermind and Labyrinth, and then maybe You're on Your Own Kid. And then I did like Lavender Haze. Yeah. So I would say about maybe 50% of the album I'm like totally here for. And then there's like 30% of the album where I'm like, this is okay. And then there's like 30% of the album that's underwhelming or just weird. Very weird. Yeah, not really any bops except for the only one that you could kind of consider a bop would be, I mean, Bejeweled was kind of fast, and then Karma. But yeah, it's fine. I'm still a fan. Yeah. So some of it was underwhelming, but overall I think it was still a good album. I think that there have been some of her albums I've liked more than others. I tend to really like her earlier stuff for some reason. And then I like a couple of songs off some of the middle era. And then I liked the folklore stuff too. Even though it can kind of put you to sleep because it's all very soft. I like the funness from early Taylor and having less explicit songs, and they're more storytelling that was based off of her own life and not made up stories, whereas a lot of her new era stuff, it's made up stories, and I think that's because she's put out so many albums. There's only so many times you can talk about yourself. And the fact that she's been in a good relationship for several years, so she doesn't really have as much drama to pull from. So I get it, it's fine. But yeah, I'm interested to see what she does because she's constantly reinventing herself. So it's also really cool to follow her in general, just from the fact that she is the only like mega famous person that I can think of off the top of my head that is a female and that is the same age as me. And she also, for a short period of time, she went to a high school where my mom had worked at the elementary school, like that's on the same area. So I grew up in like the same place that she went to high school, basically, like 20 minutes away. So yeah, with the age thing, her songs tend to hit more because we are the same age. So like when the 22 song came out, I was turning 22. So like, and it's interesting because I feel like the music kind of matches the age of the artist with her, because now she's, Lover was like her kind of being done caring about what anyone thought. Reputation was like the angry version of that, but it wasn't like I don't know, Lover was like a softer version of Reputation, but it was still in your face, like political and all this other kind of stuff. And now we're getting back to like the toned down 1989, but with a little subtle jabs at things that you get from like Reputation and Lover, with like some aggressive like undertone language. And then the realness that you got from Red with some of the lyrics, like when it talked about like the eating disorder and stuff like that. Just with like stuff people deal with growing up. And then you've got the storytelling that may not be based on like any of her actual experiences that you got from folklore. So that's why I say the album feels like a mix of all of those things. Now there is going to be 3 additional tracks on the Target version. So apparently the bonus tracks include a new one titled Hits Different, as well as a string remix of Your Own Kid and a piano remix of Sweet Nothing. So I would like to hear It's Different, since it's literally an exclusive song. So I'm going to go to Target and see if it'll play a sample. And I can't find anybody that's like uploaded it to YouTube yet. Of course, the album's only been out for an hour and 30 minutes. But yeah, I don't have one to look at. I also see that there looks like there's a music video. I thought I saw one for Anti-Hero, but maybe not. Let me see here. Now I'm on the Taylor Swift homepage. Yeah. So she has a music video that's going to premiere in 6 hours for Anti-Hero. So, anyway, I'm tired. So I'm going to watch a couple YouTube videos and go to bed. Good night.